and has been the home to 2 Husam red-coloured pigs for many years. Familiar with their new surroundings, these once proud and majestic animals howl, roar and charge at every human that approaches their tiny cages. Tigers are solitary animals, and they tend to fight when clumped together. Experts say sloth bears are on the verge of extinction in India because of increased poaching by an ancient tribe of gypsies known as Kalandars, who use the animals for their shows.
Once the wedding ceremony begins, we will leave when the situation is right, okay?
What?
Just do as I say.
Why is that, Justin? Why should I do that? Might separate you from your son the way she separated me from you.
What is going to happen today?
What?
This isn't a palace, but a device, that's it, to kill the entire royal family and their acquaintances.
On the next episode of Behind Closed Doors.
Go of me! God, please bring me my notebook, please.
What's with you, Pilar? For several days, I've seen you acting strange, different, distant. You have a different attitude.
Pilar is a murderer. The one living in your house with your children. Is it your wife, Javier?
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
Really tried to love Karina. I tried to love her with all my strength. I really did. But no one can control their heart, Rebecca.
I'm just gonna make a couple of calls before the show begins.
You shouldn't play around with those people, Martin. They don't play games. She's in danger.
Do you know who's attacking us up there?
You're a bad criminal. Bad men like you always go down sooner rather than later.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
I know of your conversion story and the gentleman that spoke to you.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to know about this first performance of Are You Ready to Get Down with Jesus Christ Tonight?
Yo, man, how do you know?
Man, why such a long title?
Why judgment right now? That's what I want to know. Why are you throwing shade on this classic that I wrote?
Dr. Umar Opai's ministry has spanned over 50 years. It's been reported that some of his evangelistic meetings have had close to 1 million people in attendance daily.
I have covered the whole world except Russia. I used to smuggle Bible to China and hold small meetings in China.
When it's feeding time at Bristol Zoo, gorilla lady Romina is right there to pick up her share. And she became the first adult
Good afternoon. Welcome to Channel 1 Lunchtime News. My name is Wambiru. Our sign language interpreter this afternoon is Lucy Morai. I hope you're having a lovely day. Well, we have a comprehensive bulletin lined up for you this afternoon. To kick us off, the First Lady, Margaret Kenyatta's Beyond Zero initiative has teamed up with a number of charity organizations in the country to donate food and cushion vulnerable groups against the economic effects of COVID-19. The constriction is part of the First Lady's intervention in support of the national response against the pandemic. This coming even as Kalonzo Musyoka Foundation made food donations to over 200 artists from the lower eastern region to help them cope with the harsh effects of COVID-19.
From the Beyond Zero campaign and BAP's Charities Kenya, comprised of relief packages containing maize flour, beans, salt and mineral water. The initiative being part of the First Lady Margaret Kenyatta's intervention in support of the national response against the coronavirus pandemic. Director of Administration in the Office of the First Lady, Eva Maina, noted that Margaret is keen to support needy families during the current health crisis, even as she appreciated organizations that have heeded the call to help the vulnerable in the society. The 14 organizations that received the donation included the host Eco and Special Tutorial Centers, Gichungo Nyumba Kumi, Crossing Bridges Naivasha, Crossing Bridges Ngong Branch, Sweet Aroma Initiative, Bringing Hope Foundation International, and Ololua. In the meantime, former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka's foundation made donations to artists from Mwingi region in a bid to help them cope with the economic impact posed by the COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking during the donation ceremony, Mwingi Central Member of Parliament Dr. Gideon Mulyungi noted that the music industry is one of the sectors hard hit by the current pandemic, hence they need support in order to boost their resilience.
These are people who are very important to the society because they pass messages of the arising issues, especially corona. And some of them are suffering because there are no meetings, because these people make their money through meetings and gatherings.
The lawmaker said the donation by Kalonzo Musyoka Foundation will go a long way in aiding the artists during this period of COVID-19 pandemic, even as he called on leaders from across the nation to consider artists when giving out any form of support.
We take a list of all the most vulnerable people, the disabled, the orphaned, the street children, and those who are very poor, so that the government can support them with stipends during this period of corona.
Beatrice Gatonyengetich, Channel 1 News.
Now, a section of the clergy have raised concern over what they say are attempts to introduce sex education within the country's school, introduced in the school in efforts to minimize cases of teenage pregnancies. Now, the clergy, who are also opposed to the Reproductive Health Bill 2019, currently before the Senate, argues that parents and caregivers should instead instill discipline and offer life lessons to their children.
Cases of teenage pregnancies have alarmed the nation in the wake of a survey conducted by Kenya Health Information System, indicating that about 4,000 girls aged 19 years and below were reported pregnant in Machakos County alone between January and May this year. The grim statistics have seen some stakeholders root for the introduction of sex education in the country's curriculum. But it's such arguments in the Reproductive Health Care Bill 2019 that is before the Senate that have now asked the clergy, who claim the nation will have lost the plot if such measures are to be adopted. At Holy Family Basilica during a Sunday sermon streamed online,
tunasherehekea sikukuu ya moyo mtakatifu wa Yesu Kristu.
The clergy opposed such measures and instead urged parents and caregivers to play more proactive roles to shape the future of their children.
We strongly hold that safeguarding of all children is everyone's responsibility. We reiterate our belief that strong family values and personal responsibility on nurturing and safeguarding children can go a long way towards eradicating or significantly reducing child sexual exploitation and the resultant teenage pregnancies that scatter life goals of our dear children.
The clergy is also calling upon the government to support families affected by coronavirus pandemic.
We also earnestly appeal to the government to support the bereaved families to bury with dignity their loved ones who have succumbed to COVID-19.
At All Saints Cathedral, messages of hope reverberated as Kenyans were urged to support the less fortunate in the society.
In the scheme of things, around God's perfect will, there is also what we call the human will. Therefore, our destinies and the realization of our destinies is connected to those two things: God's divine ordering of things and the choices we make as humanity out of the myriad options that life presents before us.
For Channel 1 News, I'm Gladys Mungai.
Now let's shift gears, where Amani National Congress Party leader Musalia Mudavadi has joined those demanding clarity on the fate of the ongoing construction of the standard gauge railway. The development coming days after the Court of Appeal ruled that the government failed to follow procurement laws while contracting China Bridges and Railway Corporation for the project.
Following a ruling by the Court of Appeal under Justices Martha Koome, Gatembu Cairo and Jamila Mohammed that the standard gauge railway construction did not follow required procurement laws, Amani National Congress Party leader Musalia Mudavadi is now calling for accountability from Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani and his transport counterpart James Macharia. Mudavadi saying that since the project was funded by the taxpayers' money, then its value should be felt in the lives of Kenyans and the economy.
If so much money has been spent through a process that has been found to have been riddled with illegalities, what does that mean for the money that has already been spent by the Kenyan people? The Treasury may have to also explain that if there were illegalities, does it then mean that the expenditure associated with this process has also been illegal?
The ANC leader adding that the pronouncement by the Court of Appeal now puts Kenya at crossroads with international donor communities and in particular China, one of the key financiers of the SGR project.
How does this play out with our international friends? What does it mean for a very important player, the government of China, and indeed the Exim Bank of China, if the pronouncement by the Court of Appeal indicates there are some illegalities?
In the judgment delivered on Friday, the judges of the Court of Appeal faulted Kenya Railways Corporation, saying as the procuring entity, it failed to comply with and violated provisions of Article 227(1) of the Constitution and Section 6(1) and 29 of the Public Procurement and Disposal Act of 2005. Activist Okia Omtata, together with the Law Society of Kenya, had challenged the project, arguing that it was single-sourced, yet it was financed by Kenyans. Nancy Okware, Channel 1 News.
Now, Northeastern Regional Commissioner Nicodemus Ndalana is urging area residents to remain vigilant and volunteer information on suspected Al-Shabaab operatives within the midst. Now, Ndalana is promising that such information will be promptly acted upon as the government steps up efforts to rid the region of the Somali-based terror group, adding that the identity of volunteers will be treated with utmost confidentiality.
Northern Kenya has suffered the brunt of Al-Shabaab atrocities, witnessing sporadic attacks orchestrated by the ragtag militia that has been blamed for dozens of terror attacks within the country's borders. In efforts geared towards enhancing security within the region, area residents are being urged to volunteer information on suspected Al-Shabaab operatives. Northeastern Regional Commissioner Nicodemus Ndalana assuring area residents that if they volunteer information, their identity will not be disclosed as it might pose a danger to them and their families.
Hiyo ni kama wimbo nimekuwa nikiimba kwa wenzetu polisi, hata machifu wangu na watu wote wa administration. Mtu akipeana ujumbe wowote, hiyo ni siri. You don't talk about your source of information.
Dalana noting that information is key in flashing out terror gangs and that lack of it would greatly hinder the operations aimed at restoring security.
Information is very key, especially in police actions. Information ikipeanwa na wahakikishia police wameni promise watafanya kazi immediately.
Dalana spoke when he awarded certificates of commendation to an assistant chief and 7 national police reservists from Dadaab for neutralizing 2 Al-Shabaab militants in March. He, however, issued a stern warning to security agents suspected of collaborating with the enemy.
Na nimewaambia kama iko mmoja wao anaweza kuwa ako na mafikiria ya aina hiyo, aachane nayo kabisa, kwa sababu as far as I'm concerned, dawa ya Al-Shabaab ni moja tu. Sisi tukipatana na Al-Shabaab hatutajali ni alikuwa polisi, alikuwa NPR, alikuwa nani. Atakula risasi tu.
Nancy Okware, Channel 1 News.
Well, that report brings us to a fast break here on Channel 1 Lunchtime News. Don't go too far. We'll be right back.
Once the wedding ceremony begins, we will leave when the situation is right, okay?
What?
Just do as I say.
Why is that, Justin? Why should I do that? I'd separate you from your son the way she separated me from you.
What is going to happen today?
What?
This isn't a palace, but a device, that's it, to kill the entire royal family and their acquaintances.
On the next episode of Behind Closed Doors.
Go of me! God, please bring me my notebook, please.
What's with you, Pilar? For several days, I've seen you acting strange, different, distant. You have a different attitude.
Pilar is a murderer. The one living in your house with your children. Is it your wife, Javier?
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
Really tried to love Karina. I tried to love her with all my strength. I really did. But no one can control their heart, Rebecca.
I'm just gonna make a couple of calls before the show begins.
You shouldn't play around with those people, Martin. They don't play games. She's in danger.
Do you know who's attacking us up there?
You're a bad criminal. Bad men like you always go down sooner rather than later.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Bahasha nimepewa na gavana niwaletee. Basi ile kuichukua akanipiga nayo ya uso. Hariri huyu sitaki vitu vya gavana mimi na
Umekuwa wapi? Mimi nilikufikiria hata pia umetuacha kama mama.
Kama mtu yote ataandika story yote, itabidi tufuatilie huyo mtu.
Wacha niende huko kijijini kwao. Niende nikazungumze naye kwa kiini ndimuulize.
Top on Channel 1.
Elgon Thabiti Fertilizers, the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock, Fisheries, Cooperatives and partners of the National Farmers Awards congratulate our 2019 winners.
I could get a professional research company, but I trust real, everyday people more.
I want the world for you. You have to believe that.
Tutatoa hiyo pesa.
And lazima kilio story. Nabonga about health ya mtu wetu.
To all the winners, we celebrate your valued efforts in feeding the nation and wealth creation. You are our soil heroes.
Miss, I've been asking about Flight 648 from Paris, but no one is saying anything. Is something wrong?
A tragedy changed everything.
It's the plane. They're not coming.
What are you talking about? What do you mean they're not coming? I won't leave you.
Why did they have to die, Juana? Tell me why.
A last will is going to transform their lives.
It's Juana Lopez Ortiz.
Me? You have to get that woman out of here. Only heaven knows what kind of trick she used to get your father to leave her the insurance.
And the person she least expected will come to her door.
Hey,
Ouch.
be careful. Slowly, slowly.
Oh, no, no, no,
Slowly.
In love with Ramon.
Welcome back. Now, nearly half of the country's population is relying on food donations to sustain themselves as a result of hard economic times caused by COVID-19 pandemic. A study carried out across all 47 counties by InfoTrack Research Farm shows majority of Kenyans have been pushed to the edge by the stresses and burdens of economic and financial pressures brought about by the outbreak. Now, Kevin Oshiro has that report.
The latest InfoTrack survey on the socio-economic impact caused by COVID-19 pandemic shows the majority of Kenyans are living under extreme pressure. The study carried out across all counties indicate that 47% of the country's population cannot afford basic needs such as food and are now depending on donations.
47% of all Kenyans have intimated that they are currently depending on some sort of food donation or the other from well-wishers, be they family, be they friends, be they neighbors.
What's more, the poll shows that more than half of employed Kenyans are now earning reduced salaries, thereby reducing their purchasing power. Yet the crisis appears to have hit the informal sector harder than any other. The polls show that most people are unable to make ends meet as they did before, causing them immense psychological stress and restlessness.
79% say that they can no longer send money back to their dependents back home. 75% have been unable to pay for formal and informal loans that they had taken.
The research reveals that the rent crisis facing most urban Kenyans is real, with 63% of Kenyans saying they are unable to pay their rent on time, while 60% say they are unable to pay their rent in full.
68% are unable to buy, cooking fuel adequately, be it gas, be it kerosene, be it charcoal. 67% indicated that they are unable to adequately pay for utilities like electricity and water, and 67% are unable to comfortably buy medication that they need.
1,200 respondents participated in the research that was conducted between 28th May and 2nd June this year. Kevin Washira, Channel 1 News.
Now, a family in Karura, sub-location Kiambu County, is counting losses after a mysterious fire struck twice and gutted down their entire homestead. Investigations into the mystery fires are ongoing.
In what appears like a script from a movie scene, a family from Karura sub-location in Kiambu County is struggling to recover from two fire tragedies that occurred within a span of 3 days. According to Peter Wambugu Njoroge, a son to the family, a mysterious fire first struck on Wednesday afternoon and razed down his father's house. Attempts to extinguish the fire proved futile even after the Kiambu fire engines responded.
Tulipatwa na mkasa wa moto kwa siku ya Wednesday ya babangu yote ikachomeka na hakuna kitu ilitolewa.
Tulipatwa na hii jaga ya moto winamo Jumatano ya wiki hii. Nyumba ya kwanza ikaanza kuchomeka masaa ya mchana na hakuna chochote ambacho tuliweza kuokoa sababu moto ilikuwa mingi. Wakati watu wa fire brigade walikuja, lakini walikuja kama wamechelewa, wakakuta kila kitu kimeangamia.
Come Saturday, a local ACK pastor visited the homestead to pray with the family and offer some donations. And immediately after the prayers, another fire would destroy a house next to the one which was gutted down by Wednesday's fire.
Nayo siku ya jana tena yangu ikachomeka na ya my brother yote ikachomeka. Ndio moto ilitokea pande gani, kwa sababu hatujajua kabisa hasa ile kitu inaleta hii moto. Juu hata jana ilichomeka, tukashindwa hii moto inatoka pande nini hasa inaleta hiyo mambo ya moto.
Edwin Mungai, a relative to the family, says the two tragedies has left the family worried.
Lakini tunasema tu Mungu ndiye mambo yote na atatusaidia na ataleta hii mambo yote kwa mwangaza. Juu moto imechoma, imeturudisha nyuma miaka mingi sana.
The family is now calling on well-wishers to support them as they struggle to reconstruct their lives from scratch.
Kwa wale wanaweza tusaidia kwa sababu ukiangalia hata dakika hii ni hii majumba yote inabomolewa. Hakuna sasa, hii vitu yote ya kujenga imeisha, lakini Mungu wanaweza tusaidia kwa sababu hatujui sasa la kwenda wapi ama la kufanya.
For Channel 1 News, I am Emily K. Bade.
On a separate matter, residents of Kibwezi who surrendered their land to pave way for construction of a road linking Kibwezi and Kitui are at odds with the state over failure to settle compensation funds. The affected families have now issued a month ultimatum for the matter to be resolved, failure to which they are threatening to stay put and scuttle plans to construct the road.
Irate residents drawn from most parts of Kibwezi are up in arms over delayed release of funds as part of the deal to have them relinquish their parcels of lands to pave way for road construction. The residents are pleading with President Uhuru Kenyatta to respond to their plea and ensure money owed to them is released.
Sasa hivi National Land Commission imekuwa na commissioners waliapishwa, kesi ilisha kotini. Do not take our patience for cowardice. Watu wetu wanataka walipwe pesa yao.
Kibwezi Empowerment Forum is concerned that most of the families affected cannot afford basic needs as a result of the standoff. To aid the families, the group donated foodstuffs to most of the vulnerable in the area.
Vijana wetu ambao wamehitimu katika vyuo vikuu, mambo ya environment, mambo ya kilimo, tumewaweka pamoja Kibwezi yote. Wanazunguka boma kwa boma wakifundisha watoto wetu, kina mama wetu, ndio tukiwapatia haya magunia waweze kupanda chakula katika boma. Mama anapata chakula, anapata ya kukula na anapata ingine ya kuuza. Ndio wakati wa janga la njaa ukifika mwezi wa 8 ambao umetangazwa, akuwe ana mapato ya kujimudu na kuimudu familia yake na watoto wake.
The residents have issued the state with a 30-day ultimatum to release their funds, failure to which they have promised to scuttle the entire plan to have the road constructed. Yusuf Farah, Channel 1 News.
Still on the same matter, the poor state of feeder roads in Ali Dina area of Mekindani ward in Jombo constituency has pushed area residents and homeowners to pull their resources together to rehabilitate them. Now the initiative by the residents appears to have rattled the county administration into action, which has commenced the construction works on the main road from Ali Dina to Mikanjuni.
It has been challenging times for the residents of Alidina area in Mikindani ward who have had to struggle with poor state of feeder roads in the region.
Tabu tunaopata siku zote wakati wa mvua ni tabu sana. Manake hapa hapapitiki wakati wa mvua. Bakina mama wanapata tabu wakati wa kwenda masokoni, wakati wanakwenda madukani, manake maduka yako pande huku, barabara kubwa. Sasa huwa wanapata tabu sana hata kina mama na watoto.
Hii barabara imekuwa kero kama mimi mama. Najua tabu yenye tunapata watoto wetu wakienda shule na hii barabara imekuwa kwa muda.
Wacha pikipiki ama magari, mtu mwenyewe kupita kwa sababu ya udongo upande huu, ukishapata maji mtu anazama, inakuwa shida.
Having suffered for long, the residents decided to pull resources together, forming the Alidina Creek Residents Association and launching an initiative to repair the dilapidated feeder roads.
Hivi sasa tumehakikisha tumetenga lori karibu 10 ambaye tumepata tayari, tumeanza kumwaga vile mnaona hapa nyuma yetu ili tutengeneze barabara ianze kupitika.
Their efforts receiving a shot in the arm after Mikindani Ward MCA Renson Thoya supported the initiative by providing them with road graders to assist in completing the works.
Nimesema kwamba tunataka zile tinga za kaunti zikuje hapa kwa mwezi mzima. Barabara kama hii ambayo inatoka katika ile Mendo Aldina Mikanjuni zitengezwe huko. Kwa hivyo tukiwa hapa bado kuna barabara zingine ambazo ndani ya mwezi mmoja miezi miwili tutazikarabati kwa.
The noble initiative by the residents appears to have prompted the county government into action, with the administration commencing road repair works on the main road from Alidina to Mikanjuni. For Channel 1 Lunchtime News Weekend from Mombasa County, I am Anburu.
And in the sports arena, young upcoming athletes have been challenged to not only focus on their talent and speed, but also focus on education. Most athletes have been heavily dented by the coronavirus situation that has halted a means of livelihood for them as they fully depend on competitions.
Since sporting competitions were stopped in March this year due to the coronavirus pandemic, most Kenyan athletes have been backed into a corner as they only depend on earnings from competitions. Their situation has forced National Body Athletics Kenya to go around the country in support of these athletes during these tough times. And this weekend they were in Embu, where Barnabas Korir, officer in charge of youth development at Athletics Kenya, challenged upcoming athletes to take education serious despite the talents they hold.
Kama inawezekana uhakikishe wanaendelea kusoma. That is the priority. Mahali nimeenda na mwambianga number 1 ni masomo, number 2 ni masomo, number 3 ni masomo. Ile sasa mbio ni kusaidia nyinyi kufikisha nyinyi mahali mnaenda. And then of course you must understand that even when you win, you get money, you are rich and you cannot manage it. You don't know how to manage it. That's why unaona vijana wetu wengine wana complain kusema pesa yetu imekuliwa, manager amefanya hii, vile umesema you get local managers, you don't trust your Africans because you like the white people. Ndio inaleta sisi wote wa Afrika sasa because we don't trust ourselves. And when you don't have that trust, you don't do much.
The support comes just a week after the athletes in the region called on support, after not only being hit by the coronavirus effects but also floods that damaged their crops following heavy rains in the region. Eastern region together with coastal region were among the regions Athletics Kenya had no tour to support athletes, with other regions in the country having already received support.
Gor Mahia defender Philemon Otieno has revealed that he received numerous transfer offers but could not take them due to the knee injury he sustained last year. Now Otieno suffered the injury when playing for Harambee Stars against Tanzania in a CHAN qualifier match in August.
Gor Mahia defender Philemon Otieno says he missed the chance of joining other clubs due to a knee injury. Otieno, who has been out for about a year due to the knee injury, is however grateful to his club for extending his contract by another year. Otieno got injured while playing for Harambee Stars against Tanzania in an African Nation Championship qualifier match in August. He says the setback denied him a chance to join a different club. When Otieno got injured, his club and Football Kenya Federation tussled over who was responsible for his medical bill. Meanwhile, former Kibra parliamentary aspirant Eliud Owalo challenged Kogalo to adopt a sustainable business model while supporting them with 250,000 shillings. Owalo's gesture to the players comes at a time when they have been delayed salaries, as the club ran without a financial partner for the abandoned 2019-2020 season. Owalo's financial boost also comes just days after Kogalo secured a sponsorship deal for 3 years from betting company BetSafe.
On the international scene, Jurgen Klopp is confident his Liverpool side can pick up where they left off before the suspension of the Premier League, but stresses that football is not like riding a bicycle. The Reds were enjoying one of the best campaigns in Premier League history when the league was halted in March. They go into today's Merseyside derby at Everton 22 points clear at the top and 2 wins away from the title. Well, that report brings us to the end of our bulletin this afternoon. Thank you so much for keeping us company here on Channel 1 Lunchtime News. My name is Jackie Wambiru. Our sign language interpreter was Lucy Moore. Remember to adhere to government's directive to curb the spread of coronavirus. Well, have yourself a lovely afternoon.
Vera Beauty College. Vera Beauty and Fashion College, with branches in Nairobi, Eldoret, Thika and Meru. Did you know that we are a TVET approved institution? We offer courses in fashion design, interior design in soft furnishing, event decoration, flower arrangement, event planning, hairdressing, barbering and dreadlocks, beauty therapy, makeup, nail technology, spa massages, teaching skills, TOT, solo business management, and many more. Register now and visit our website on www.verabeautycollege.com. You can also call on 0725 923 550 Nairobi branch, 0728 087 689 Eldoret branch, 0722 227428 Thika branch, 0725 000-706 Meru branch. Vera Beauty and Fashion College, a TVET approved institution.
On the next episode of Elena's Ghost.
What that nutcase did? No. She kidnapped a baby, then threatened his life with a bomb. Now she's disguised and headed who knows where. Incredible, don't you think?
When your people used Monte Cristo to bankrupt my husband's ranch, and you know it. Oh, I am so happy to see you again, Eduardo.
Yes, Rebecca, I am. I'm in love with Andrea.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Bahasha nimepewa na gavana niwaletee. Basi ile kuichukua akanipiga nayo ya uso. Hariri huyu. Sitaki vitu vya gavana mimi na.
Umekuwa wapi? Mimi nilikufikiria hata pia umetuacha kama mama.
Kama mtu yote ataandika story yote, itabidi nifuatilie huyo mtu.
Wacha niende huko kijijini kwao. Niende nikazungumze naye kwa kiini ndimuulize.